Hi everyone, it's Mandy. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I am a full-time reseller and I was part-time for about 5 years. On this channel, I like to make reseller content that could be thrift with me's, thrift hauls, what solds. I do those every week on Wednesday. I do informational videos like today. I'm going to show you my inventory system. I am working on a video also about some tips on how I can list faster. I mainly sell on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. I do also do Depop. I also sell at Plato's weekly. Those could also be videos that I put out in the future as well. If any of those things sound interesting to you, please consider subscribing. I do have a goal to reach 500 subscribers by the end of November, so I have just under 3 weeks. We'll see if it happens. If it doesn't, not the worst thing in the world, but it is my goal for this month. A little backstory on my inventory system. I started when I was part-time. Obviously, I didn't have as many items as I do now. I think currently I have around 1,300, but back then I had like maybe 3 totes. So I had started it kind of then. I've switched things around throughout the last 5 years, and what I currently have is working for me. There are some parts of it that I would like to improve, but I will go through what I do now. My main thing with my inventory system, I know there are other resellers that take a lot of pride in how they store their items and spend a lot of money on, different numbering systems and all of that. That's just not really my vibe. I am more cost efficient as much as possible. So with my system, I mainly have clear bins. I think they're all clear. Some of them might have a little bit of a colored tint to them. I did not, stick with one and keep spending money on that same one. I mean, most totes nowadays that are clear, that are the bigger ones, are like $14. I just would wait until they'd be on sale and then get different ones. So mine are all kind of mix matched. There was a time at Walmart when they must have gotten rid of one of their Sterilite ones. I got, I think, 12 of them for $1 each. So that was great. As far as like the outside of the bins, mine are all handwritten on just colored paper that is taped on there. I will show you how I do my jeans. That's also just handwritten. I'm just a firm believer in anywhere that I can cut costs in my business that is not going to affect the outcome of my sale or my customer's experience. I'm okay with doing that. I would prefer to just put my money back into my business or use it for something to improve my business other than something that I'm the only person that can see it. First, I will show you how I keep my inventory in a spreadsheet. It's a Google Docs spreadsheet from Ginger Marvin, I believe. It's a really great tool and it's free, I believe. I didn't pay anything for it at the time. It was a couple years ago. It does keep me super organized. You can put in, let's see, it has a bin location. I will show you this in a moment, but it has a bin location, an item, your purchase date, location, cost of goods, categories, and then all of your sold information. So your shipping costs, fees, platform fees, what your profit is. Then it takes all of this information and you can look into the weekly or monthly dashboard. This is going to give you exactly what you are making. Each month you can filter it by day, by week, by month. It's a great tool, especially come tax time, if you have to generate any type of reports for your income, for whatever it be, loans, anything like that. It's not calculating any of your other expenses, as such as, like your bags, your supplies, any subscription fees you have for any services, anything like that. It does not keep into account, but this is a huge part of, what your profit loss statement is. And then I also am going to show you my average cost inventory worksheet. This is what I use to come up with my cost of goods. And this came from Not Your Dad's CPA. I think he might have redone it recently. I didn't check, but this is a great way for me to keep track. It gives you your starting inventory, your ending inventory for the whole year, so that helps you on your taxes. And then each month you are able to put in each shopping trip that you had, the date, the place, the amount, and the quantity. And then that way it is going to show you your average cost of goods for each individual month. It's a running total of what your inventory is each month and starting at the beginning to the end of the year. After I show you all of that, I will show you my actual inventory, my bins, where I keep all of that kind of stuff. I'll show you what all of that looks like. I have a couple orders to pull so I can show you how I am easily able to find the items in the bins. So now I will turn you around and we'll take a look at the computer portion. First off, I'm going to show you my cost of average inventory worksheet. This has all the different years on the bottom. I do have the upcoming years just so that those are ready to go. This came from Not Your Dad's CPA. I believe his name is Mark II is how you pronounce his last name. He's a great person to follow if you are not already. He is a CPA and he gives great tax information for tax time. If you have not done your taxes yet as a reseller, he is somebody to definitely get information from. If it's your first year, I would highly suggest getting a CPA in your area that knows about online reselling. It's not as scary as it seems, but this year is the year when that new law was going to be implemented, that if you made more than $600, which you should be doing your taxes regardless if you made $1 or $6 million. But this is the year now when the platforms will be sending that information to the IRS. So this is a great thing to start if you haven't already. I know we are in November, but this is what I use. So I fill in all of this information every time that I go shopping. So like this one here, on January 1st, this one I went to Goodwill and I spent $26 for 12 items. So this is going to give me a running balance of this here. Will tell me what my average cost of goods are for that month, what my cost of goods sold are. That is something you need to know for your taxes. And it keeps my beginning inventory, another thing you'll need to know, what my total purchases were for the month, and what my total inventory cost is, and how much inventory I currently have. Some of these numbers are going to be a little bit off of how much inventory I currently have, just because there's a couple things I need to go back in and tweak for the year. I did quite a bit of consignment with the app Flip, and I did not put that information in here yet, so this might be a little bit off. So looking over here, this is going to be your tallies for the whole year. So over here, this is telling me that I had sold a total of about 2,500 items. My cost of goods were $7,601.24. Then it gives you all of your purchase information. So this is a great tool, like I said, for your taxes. And then I also keep a little returns thing here for eBay and Poshmark, because that is going to, well, I don't really want to get into that. That's more tax information that I don't want to give information on. I am not a licensed CPA. So that is just something for you to look at yourself. If you do have returns, make sure to offset that when you do your taxes. Okay, so this is my inventory spreadsheet. This came from Ginger Marvin. This is another great tool. And as you can see here, this will show me where all of my items are listed. So in the A bin, I know that all of these items in here should be there. Then it goes to the AA bin. This tells me the date that I purchased them, where I purchased them, my cost of goods, the category. All the information in these preloaded columns here, you are able to change. You go to your drop-down menus and you can add items. Like I added Old Navy, Quick Lots, eBay, Kohl's, JCPenney's, that kind of thing. And you can go right back to your inventory. And then when you sell an item, I do this manually. I'm sure that there are other places that have software that you can link to your other accounts and pay for, but like I said, I'm all about saving money. I have the time. I do need to stay on top of it a little bit more and get it more into a routine, but what I will do is I go through my platforms. I will put the day it sold, how much it sold for, drop down here, can say where it did sell. I do have my donated damaged items here. That's how I take my inventory out of my inventory if I deem it's no longer great for me, or I do find a damage that I don't want to sell. Here you're able to put your fees and your shipping costs. This is preloaded into their spreadsheet. I don't use this, but it's just left on there. So if I do scroll all the way to the bottom, sorry for the scrolling. All of these here currently do not have a SKU number, and that is simply because I do not have them listed yet. So this is anything that I have recently bought that has not been listed. So when I do come home from the thrift store and I have my purchases all behind me, I pull them out one by one, figure out what my average cost of goods is, and then I will enter what it is. I just made something up right now and just put Old Navy top. Then I can go over here. Today is the 7th, and I'll say it was from Goodwill. And let's say it was $1 and it's a woman's top. So now I have that entered, and I would do this for everything that I bought that day. And then once I have it listed, I have this sheet of paper. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it. Maybe you can see it or not. This I'll go over when I do my listing video, but this I just write down which bin it's going to be in, and then when I come back, and then when I'm done listing it, I come back and then I will put, let's say this one's in the B bin. So then this will get brought back up to the B area, and then that is all that needs to happen there. So I will get rid of these. And then the great thing about this spreadsheet is it also gives you your dashboard for monthly or weekly. I will show you monthly. This is starting from the beginning of the year until October. I don't have all of my orders entered for October yet, but this is a great way to show you, where you're getting your items, where it's most profitable that you're getting your items. So this one here is showing me the different categories. So obviously I'm selling way more women's clothing than anything else. Men's clothing is just right here at 7.9, but 82.3%. 82.3% is women's. Over here is showing me the purchase location. I get most of my items at Goodwill. It looks like 50% come from Goodwill. These are different, these two are different thrift stores in town. I have, Cash, Savers, Flip, Quick Lots, ThredUp. Then over here, this will give you your number of sales for the month, your average sale price for the month, your total sales. Like I said, this is a little skewed because I am a little bit behind on entering that information. This shows you your platform. So how many items you're selling there, your average sale price for those platforms. Flip is a little bit skewed, as you can see. My average sale price was only $551 there, but I did make $6,000 or $6,000 in sales. I had an agreement with the app where I was pretty much making mystery boxes and I would get paid $4 a piece. So I definitely rode that for a while until that ended, unfortunately. So they were my highest for the year, but Poshmark is definitely my highest now. And then over here on the right, it will show you your number of sale, your total sales, and then since you are entering all of that information, we'll go back really quick. Once you do, I can move my filter here, and this will show me sold items, so you can change your filter too. These are all donated ones. Okay, so like here, this Lucky Brand jeans, this sold for $30 on Poshmark. My fees were $6, so my net profit was $21.37. So if I go back here, that is going to take into effect and show you what your net profit is. So this is what you are actually taking home for the month. And, it adds it all up for you. And this is only going to put in the information that you are giving it. So, if you're selling at Plato's and you're keeping track of that, if you're selling at ThredUp, The Real, anything like that, and you're not keeping track of it on the sheet, you'd have to add that for tax purposes, but I will leave that up to you. And then it does allow you to have these filters over here, so you can filter to available inventory, sales to friends, that was just preloaded, only sold items, and I like to keep it at available inventory, obviously, because this is what I'm currently looking at. So another quick little tip that I just thought of too with your inventory systems, what I like to do at least once a year, I should do it more. Now that I am full-time, I probably will have the time to do it more, but every January 1st, I always do inventory because it is always amazing to me when I pull out these bins. So like this one, I'd pull out the P bin and you can also filter this. So we could just get rid of, clear all of them, go to P, and this will just show me what should be in that P bin. So I'll pull the bin, I'll bring it in here. I'm looking for a pair of Abercrombie red pants, an Ann Taylor sparkly top. Everything in here should be in that bin. And I will also double check it on my listings because for whatever reason, I think we all have had this happen where Poshmark, things just disappear. eBay, obviously, it only gets relisted so many times and then it goes away. Mercari, not really sure what happens there, and any other platforms that you use. So this is a great way to at least yearly make sure that you don't have inventory just sitting in these bins that no one is seeing because you've paid for it and now it's sitting there and there's no way to sell it because it's not out there. It also has been times where I maybe decided, I was going through like, I'm going to just donate this. And now I look on here and it's still in my inventory system when it shouldn't be. Same thing with if you sell on multiple platforms, it gives you another chance to just make sure that if it did sell somewhere, that it's not on the other one, so you don't have available listings that aren't truly available to you. And then changing this back, you can just get rid of it and do select all. It will give you back all of your information. It might take a little while since it is a Google Doc. You need to be connected to the internet for this. It's not like an Excel spreadsheet where you can work offline. I do believe that you could send this to someone and give them the permission to edit this as well. So if you have somebody that's working for you or helping you do inventory, this would be a good way to do that. Okay, so I just wanted to start off by showing you just an overview of my totes. I do put everything in totes. They all are marked in some sort of letter. I know it seems a little chaotic because nothing is in alphabetical order. It just kind of started. The first bin I ever had was actually this bin here, and it was just labeled, I think, kids. And that's when I was still doing kids' clothes, and I just had a couple. So then the letters just kind of started from there, and then as I got more shelves and more bins, they just kind of got placed wherever. It might seem chaotic and unorganized to you, but to me, I know where each of the bins are. Some people do sort their bins by color or season or type of item. The only ones that I do split off into its own bins are jeans. So I do have this J bin, K bin, an N bin, and then over here is a Y and a D bin. What I do so it's easier for me to find the jeans, I separated the jeans first of all because so many of them look the same. They can look very similar. So if you had a couple pairs, let's say in this G bin, and you maybe had 2 pairs of Levi's that were 501s and a 29, it'd be very easy to grab the wrong one. So I just made these little markers. I'm all about saving money. I don't have anything super fancy. This works for me. I just took colored paper and I wrote J4 on it. So I know in my inventory system on the computer, which I will show you in a little bit, I know J4 is going to be these Levi's 510s, 28 by 28. Same thing with this one. Here is a J91. I don't have to really even look. Obviously, I will double check to make sure that it is this brand and this size. But this is an easy way for me to just kind of flip through them and then find which one I need to pull out. Then as far as the other bins go, I will pull this one out here and take the lid off. This is obviously much easier to do when I'm not holding a camera, but everything is in bags. I know some people are against plastic. The only reason that I do this is A, to keep things sorted, B, I do live in Wisconsin, so it does get cold during the winter, and there are possibilities of mice getting in your house, and I just don't want to deal with anything like that, so I do have everything in the plastic, and then they do have the lids that go on top, just as a precaution. And it also protects the item too in transit, so that when I am ready to pick my items and ship them, they're already, protected. I just throw it in the mailer and it's ready to go. So in here, I don't have any form of like numbers or anything on here. I just simply look through them. I feel like there's enough variety of color in here that I can easily find what I'm looking for. Some of the bags that I use will have these stickers on here, and I do switch up the stickers every couple months. I try and make it last like close to 8 months, so that way I know how old something is in here. So when I'm going through bins and kind of doing inventory, I can say, I've had this for a couple years. I think it's time to go. These are my newest stickers. Let's see if I have an old one. These are an older sticker, and then I do have one more that is kind of when I first started. There are not very many of those left because obviously if they're still here, it was not a great buy. As far as my shoes go, that is something I would like to work on. I feel like I'm a little bit unorganized. I do have this shoe rack that is literally hanging on for its life. It's not meant to have this many shoes on it, I don't think, and that's part of the problem. So I do keep mainly like heels or other shoes that are a little bit more substantial. It does have wheels, so it is movable, which I'm going to move quick. And then I do have spots over here, the lighting's kind of bad, where I do keep some of the other boots. This bin here is full of boots that are more durable, so they can get stacked on each other. And then I do keep only one bin of shoes. These are going to be things that I'm not too concerned about if they are stacked on one another. So lighter sandals, tennis shoes, Tevas, like my Chucks, any type of these smaller little slip-ons will go in here. Two other totes I wanted to go through quick. These are actually bins. This is my bra bin. This is where I keep all of my bras. You know, it's fairly easy to just quick go through here and grab whichever one I need. This is my purses / bags bin. This I don't put, if I had like a substantial purse, like a Coach bag or something like that, that would go somewhere different. This is just kind of, you know, like this little velvet backpack, little totes, bags like this, that if they move around, they're not going to get scuffed or anything, and those go there. I do also have this little storage thing. This is where my belts go, just kind of awkward things that don't have a place anywhere else, like gloves, wallets, ties, bucket hats. What else we got in here? Not sure why this bra is in here. This should be in the other bras. Smaller hats, shapewear, and then on the bottom is going to be like socks. This one, these are a pair of socks. These are bigger socks. So just kind of smaller things. I probably could utilize this a little bit more. And then going into this room, I do use this closet. This is our bar room. This is also where I keep my, a little bit of storage for my flip-flops. And then also that is my death pile, which I don't have much of. Here's where I keep all of my coats and jackets, the kind that shouldn't be folded. So more substantial things like this leather, I think this is a Tahari jacket, men's blazers that I don't think should be folded, bigger puffer coats like this. But if it is something that's not as substantial, those I will fold and put into my regular inventory system. Puffer coats, leather jackets, obviously you don't want those to be sitting and folded. And then the last place of inventory that I do have is in my room that I am normally in, and it is my hats. These I do keep in plastic just because I don't want them to get dusty or anything. They are just those little bread bags, and I package them up like this, and then they fit right in here. You can double up if you need extra space. Once I have a full rack of this, I normally just stop picking up hats. They're not a huge seller, so I don't want to keep a bunch of them. And then after a while, if some have been here for, you know, a couple months, I do go through them and look to see if there's anything that I could just quick, you know, drop off at Plato's or put in my rummage sale in the summer. Okay, so I do have a quick sale that I'm going to pull, one for Mercari, one for Poshmark. I thought I would quick do this so it shows you you know, what I am looking for. Normally I will look at this on my phone, but I am filming this on my phone. So we will go this route. I'd go to my sales, click in here, and this will give me my SKU number, which this one is C. And then Mercari, that one's going to be a hard goods, so that is in my hard goods bin, so we will go get that. The first one here is going to be in my C bin. Okay, so now, like I said, this is much easier when you have two hands, but I will look through here and grab, right here it is. This is Lane Bryant, a new with tags, kind of like a velvet iridescent top. I do like to use the clear bins because then you can see, you know, obviously where you need to look. So in here, if I was looking for like a pair of tan pants, which would be right here, I know I could just grab them. This one here would be the red Abercrombie pants. So, I mean, if you have just something that's a black top, that does make it a little bit more difficult. But I've been doing this for years. This is the easiest for me to do. Then this bin labeled number 2. I did have 1 and 2 at one point. probably not gonna be able to see anything in here, but I did have bins labeled 1 and 2 for hard goods. I don't keep very many hard goods anymore, so I just left it as 2. That makes sense to me. And this was a pair of Starbucks cups. I did order a brand new set of these that came with like 5, 6 of them. I didn't need them all. I'm not a huge fan of pink or red. So I thought, you know what, let's sell them. Somebody bought them for $9. And then another tip, if you have something similar to this, I did get these shelves, which are pretty heavy duty. I think it was like $180 at Menards. Unfortunately, they should go together, but the way that my ceiling is in my laundry room here, it's unfinished and it wouldn't fit. So I had to break them apart. And then here where I have multiple bins stacked on each other, it's actually on like a laundry basket with wheels, so it's easily movable, so I can get to these. And then down here, right now I don't have anything, but I normally keep maybe like extra shipping supplies that I don't fit where I normally keep them. So it is definitely a lot of like moving totes. If that's not something you're looking for, maybe this setup wouldn't work. I have thought about going towards like those like Rubbermaid, I think, makes them. They're the plastic shelving. They're definitely not as durable as the shelves that I do have here. And then, you know, like lining them up this way and maybe be able to get more totes. But as of right now, this works for me. I'm also trying to probably eliminate close to 200 items in my inventory. I have, I think close to like 1,300. It is manageable, but I think sometimes it's a little too much. I'd like to keep it closer to like 1,000, 1,100 and see how that feels, because it is a little tight here where our furnace is and where these are. So just for the simple fact of, you know, this is a space that people do go into, it is the laundry room, I would like everything to maybe be a little tighter and a little neater, but that's something to work on in the future. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you. Consider giving me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, if you learned something. I know it can be a little daunting and intimidating to think about doing an inventory system, but I guarantee if you are smaller right now and you do plan on growing, it is essential to have something that is tracking your inventory. There is nothing worse than that feeling when someone buys something, especially if it's a high-priced item and you can't find it. It's happened to me before. Obviously, mistakes happen. I might say that it's in the A bin and actually it's in the G bin, and then I am pulling everything out of all the bins and have to go through it all. So that is another reason why I do suggest doing inventory on your bins more than just once a year. It will help in those instances when something is maybe put back in the wrong bin or was just mislabeled to begin with. So I guess my disclaimer is there are a million ways to do your inventory. Do what works best for you. I guess my advice is don't spend a bunch of money on things that maybe aren't necessary, especially in the beginning. You just need a couple bins or totes or IKEA bags I've seen people use and maybe some shelving. I wouldn't go super elaborate until you know that this is something you want to do and that's what you want to spend your money on. Let me know in the comments below if there's something that you do that might be a little bit different. We can all learn from each other. People can read the comments and maybe they'll get some tips or tricks from you. That is what I want this channel to be about. I don't want it to be like, this is how I do it, you need to do it that way. Definitely not, you know, that kind of vibe. I'm just letting you know this is what works for me and it might help you out in the future. With all of that being said, I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for hanging out.